So you're probably watching this video because you had an external hard drive like Western Digital My Passport Ultra, and you tried to connect to your MacBook, and suddenly you found that it does not show up in the Finder, and you go to the disk utilities, and it shows up there, but it does not mount. So what exactly do you do? So I was in a similar situation, and these are the things I did. Maybe this video is useful to you. First thing I want to tell you is, data recovery, it requires a lot of time, and it requires a lot of patience, and it might also require a little bit of money. Okay, this is the steps I followed. Maybe one of those will give you some idea, and I hope that you get your data back like I did. Okay, the first step was to make an image out of your hard disk. If you're able to connect, and if the Mac is still able to see it, you can probably create an image out of it. There are two tools, RStudio and diskdrill. So when I did some research, all the folks in the Reddit, they had good things to say about RStudio, and they did not have a lot of good things to say about diskdrill. So I went with RStudio, and I created an image out of it. Because mine was like a 2 terabyte big disk, it took about 6 hours. When I tried to access the files, the file names or the folder structure did not match to my data. So later I learned that my hard drive was encrypted. The way you read the encrypted data from RStudio is a little bit different, and you have to be aware of that. So if you're building an image, and if you're using RStudio, be aware of this fact. Okay, so what I did was, by the time I had learned this, I had already deleted the image because the 2 terabyte was pretty big, and I wanted to try diskdrill next. Diskdrill does not have a good opinions from folks at Reddit, but I did not have anything to lose anyway, so I was going to okay, I'm going to try it. And they had all these blog articles saying that they could handle encrypted files easy, and their UX is much better. So I built another image, byte to byte image, using diskdrill. That also took about 6 hours. And after that, I tried to access that, and they gave me an option of building a catalog tree. So I wasn't sure what I was doing, so I just gave it a shot. And they seem to have, they seem to have been able to build the catalog tree, but the message I saw was they actually gave up and put it back to the unmounted state. But for some reason, I could see my folder structure of the data, so it gave me a little bit of a hope. And after a while, I'm not sure what I did. My disk drive was able to mount on its own, and I was able to copy all the data. So that's the gist of this whole video. For you, what I would recommend is try to see if you can make an image either using RStudio or using diskdrill. Buy an external hard drive which is much bigger than your the hard drive which you're trying to recover data from. See if it is encrypted. See how you're going to access the encrypted folders using RStudio. So all of these might help you recover your data. If nothing works, the worst case is you have to send your hard disk to some data recovery centers, and they might charge a lot of money to recover the data if the data is important to you. So that is the whole gist of this video. If you want a more detailed one, you can watch the rest of the video. Data recovery consumes a lot of time, and it consumes a lot of patience, and you have to spend a bunch of money as well. And even after all this, you might not end up recovering anything. So that is pretty scary, right? You want to get a better solution than that. You don't want to be in a situation where all your personal travel and other important files are in some place, and suddenly one day you cannot have access to those drives. So that was exactly the place I was in. I had just one copy of this whole data on that external drive, and I couldn't access it. So I spent the whole weekend trying to recover it and trying to see what I can do about it. So the first thing I learned was, when you have an external drive and you think that it is not working, and you try a bunch of times to get it working, you might push that external drive to a much worse place than what it is currently. So the first thing you need to do is take an image of that drive. There were two. I did some research online, and two tools came up in my search. One was RStudio, which was recommended by most people on Reddit, and the other one was diskdrill. Diskdrill, they have done a remarkable good job in marketing and SEO and everywhere. So it's very hard in 2025 when you're trying to recover a data and not run into diskdrill link. Okay, so and diskdrill is also more user friendly compared to RStudio, and the world of data recovery, it can get complex pretty quick. There is no user friendly version of a guide which anyone has published, and most of the folks on data holders, they are very technical. They care more about being correct than actually being helpful to question posters, and that's a whole another topic. Anyways, so I was in a situation where I have to rescue this data, I have to recover this data, and once I get it back, I have to set up a system where I have this 3-2-1 philosophy, where you store your data in multiple physical places with redundancy built in. So any one catastrophic event will not lead to you losing the data. I'll talk about 3-2-1 backup strategy. This blog from Backblaze explains it really well. So what is 3-2-1 backup rule? So basically you make 3 copies of your data. Your 3 copies include your original or production data plus 2 more copies, and then on 2 different media. You should store your data on 2 different forms of media. This means something different today than it did in the late 2000s. And okay, and then 1 copy offsite. So you should keep 1 copy of your data offsite in a remote location, ideally more than a few miles away from your 2 copies. So what the main goal of this 3-2-1 backup rule is that you have multiple redundancy built in, and even in case you lose one copy due to a hardware failure or due to a catastrophic event, you have another copy you can get back. So that it would be you have to be really unfortunate to lose data when you have when you have followed the 3-2-1 backup rule. So the first thing you do with data recovery is you make an image of the external hard drive. So because my external hard drive was around 2 terabytes, it took me around 6 hours to make a complete image of it. So why does one need to make an image out of it? So that when you are trying out to recover the data, you don't stress the hard drive, physical hard drive. Instead, you work on the byte by byte image of that hard drive. So in my first attempt with RStudio, I made an image of my 2 terabyte hard drive, and when I tried to recover, all the things I was seeing was all garbled, and I couldn't recognize the file names. I couldn't recover anything. Then I learned that if your hard disk is encrypted, you have to use a different way to decrypt it. Basically, you have to provide a password to RStudio so that it can use that password to decrypt it. But by the time I had learned this, I had already deleted the image. Keep in mind that at this point I'm running very thin of patience and had already waited like 6 hours for it to build an image, and I wanted this data as soon as possible. So that image is like 2 terabytes big, and I don't have many places where I can store that 2 terabyte image. And my next approach was I wanted to try diskdrill. I wanted to give that one a shot. So I deleted the image from RStudio. And on the hindsight, I probably should have kept it somewhere else. But I did not have enough external hard drive to store a 2 terabyte image. So the next one, I install diskdrill, pay 60 or 70 bucks, and then I try to create an image. A diskdrill user interface is way more friendly than RStudio. They have something known as byte to byte, byte by byte image building, and that took about 6 hours. Honestly, I don't know what is the difference between RStudio image versus a diskdrill image. But I had read some articles saying that diskdrill knows how to decrypt encrypted drives. So the main point was I was not able to mount that physical hard drive, and I was trying to mount this image. So it took about 6 hours. I had the disk drill image. So I got an option to fix the catalog tree, and it didn't completely fix, but for some reason I was able to mount it. And when the mount was successful, I was able to read from that external drive. I couldn't write that to the external drive. I could not write data to external drive, but I was able to read all my data. So I was like, okay, I will take this, and just copied all the things I could read from that external hard drive to an SSD this time because I wanted it done faster. I completely reformatted the drive to macOS format. I think it's AFPS, and that's how I recovered all my files from Western Digital. So in conclusion, so I don't know what exactly I did to recover the data. I think it might be something to do with fixing the catalog tree. But I tried the fixing up the drive using the disk utilities, but it didn't work. But something with the disk drill, it worked. So that might be something. Disk drill might have something to do with it. So this was the conclusion, and what led to next was I wanted to build a robust system so that even in the absence of so even if one of my hard drives failed, I could still have access to that data. So in my next video, I talk about how I build a NAS system, and I'll document the whole process. I'm going to be making another video where I document the process of building and setting up a NAS system, network attached storage system from Synology. You might be interested in that video. I'll see you in my next one. Thank you.